Hey guys, Little V here, and this is my demo and review of the Jericho Guitars Alpha Bass. So, the Alpha is Jericho Guitar's first bass guitar. It is a P bass with an ash body, a maple bolt-on neck with a 35-inch scale length, hip shot hardware, and GNB Golden Age pickups. It comes in two styles, black, which is the model I have, and blacker, which is all black hardware, and an ebony fingerboard. Also, one more really cool offer that Jericho Guitars offers is they can send you the bass in standard tuning, in B, E, A, D, and then they can also do it in F sharp, B, E, A for like 8-string tuning, so you can go way low to keep up with all the jiggity jiggity gent and all that stuff. So before we get too far into this review, I am not a bassist. I am a guitar player and a drummer. I would consider bass to be my weakest instrument out of the three I just listed. Go easy on me. Don't yell too hard at the screen at my poor technique. And if anything else, just keep in mind that this is a bass that is in the hands of an amateur, so you can imagine it sounds even better when a professional is playing it. So the first thing I want to say about it is it looks fantastic. I'm a really big fan of like vintage, but meets modern, and this is a really cool look, because obviously it's modeled after a P bass that we all know and love, but just like nice little details like that headstock, just a little bit sharper, a little bit more modern looking than your traditional P bass. One of the things I really enjoy about this bass is the semi-gloss neck. I have a tendency to bounce back and forth between satin and gloss, and you know, pros and cons of both. And I like satin because you don't stick, but I like gloss because it's like smooth and it also looks really cool under light. But this is a nice little in between. So it's got a bit of a gloss on it, so it will stick a little bit, but not too much. Another thing I really like too is the truss rod is down here. I think more instruments need to do that instead of having it up here with a truss rod cover. I like the fact that you just go like boop, boop, and also because there's less tension on the strings as they are up here, you just go boop, put a little Allen wrench in there, and you're good to go. I also really like the fact that the hip shot hardware here, the hip shot bridge, has the option to go string through the body, as you can see here in the holes. I haven't done it yet, or just through the bridge on the top here, like that. Bump things over there. This would especially be useful if you're going down to the F sharp tuning, because I don't think the hole in the guitar is big enough to fit a string for F sharp tuning. The control system is pretty straightforward. It is volume for each pickup, and then just like a master tone. Nothing crazy. They're passive pickups, so no batteries or any sort of preamp to worry about. And the pickups are fine. They're definitely like a vintage voiced kind of pickup, if you know what I mean by that. So if you're looking for like that old school kind of rock and roll or punk rock tone, this is like the perfect bass for that. I might swap out the pickups down the road just to try something a little bit more modern sounding. I don't know if I'd go active. I've been really enjoying like the passive tonalities of this bass. And really, if I want to make it sound active, I can just run it through a compressor and then kind of squash everything. But I might try something a little bit more modern, just something a little more, I don't know, maybe like a ceramic pickup instead of an Alnico pickup. I don't know much about bass pickups, so that I'm just not knowledgeable in that regard. Another thing about the neck I forgot to mention is it is not super chunky. It's not a giant neck. It's not as thin as my Schecter Stiletto. Which that is more like it's almost like a Gibson, like Les Paul neck, whereas this is a little bit chunkier, but not super chunky. Like you're not trying to like and I don't have small fingers. I can, you know, I don't have to worry about that. I can play that, but you're also not struggling to play it. Like, it's a nice in-between. It's a nice compromise of, like, a nice fat, chunky neck, but also still thin enough that you can get around it and get some fancy finger work, you know what I'm saying? Now, I've worked a number of years in music shops, at multiple music shops too, and I've played a lot of J basses and P basses, Fender specifically, and I can say for sure this is on par with an American P bass, if not better. Just based solely off the fact that the bridge allows you to load strings in multiple ways, and the truss rod being down here is super awesome, and tonality, it sounds great, as I'm sure you're hearing in the clip, and again, not a bass player, so you'll forgive me if I get some techniques wrong. But yeah, I love the sound of it. I've already used it in multiple videos and multiple songs and on multiple recordings. And it's just, it works. It works great, and there's very little I have to do to it post-processing. In fact, in the songs and the samples you're hearing right now, I'm basically just running it through like a preamp into a cab simulator with like some minor EQing at the end of it. The only thing I would bring up is that if they continue doing basses, I'd like to see them do a 5-string. I've gotten really accustomed to playing 5 strings just for the styles of music I play, and 5 strings just makes sense, I think, nowadays. I know there's some bass players out there that are like 4-string purists, and this is basically set up like a 5-string minus the high G string, but I think a 5-string would be a really, really good addition to the line. Anyways, I'll leave a link down to the website if you want to check one out yourself, and if you enjoy the video, please leave a like. That helps me more than ever, thanks to good old YouTube's algorithm. Boy, YouTube has no idea what it's doing right now. And rock on, peace out, we'll see you next time.